to another episode, and this is Rise and Thrive with a Purpose. I'm your host, Yisbel Bera, and I always love to start by saying there's two important days in life: the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. And today I'm very excited. I have a special guest with us, and his name is Lance Moretto. Welcome to another episode. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm super excited to have you here.
And thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
really appreciate the offer to come here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I know there's a lot to learn from your story. I know you're an entrepreneur. I know you do a lot of things. You're a mortgage loan originator. If you can tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background for many years, since the late 90s, has been really entrepreneurial. We can go back even further. When I grew up on a farm and I was a self-starter with small businesses as a kid. But I've always had that idea of going out and starting every day with the right attitude and how I can help people. And so my background mainly has been in the finance industry. I've done everything from financing cars to the mortgage industry, which I am today. Still to this day, I'm an investor in real estate, and I love to help people become better and understand how to become an entrepreneur.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you pretty much, I know we had conversations that you pretty much start since you were little, right? So that's something that you saw in your household and you grew up with that mentality, because there's a lot of people that are trying to switch from employee to an entrepreneur. And sometimes it's hard for those people. I mean, what do you think, what will be the key for those people to get out the circle of living in a paycheck and living an average life?
Yeah. So, that's the whole part about having a job. Just over broke is where you are actually getting paid, where they pay you just enough so you don't quit and just enough so you don't, have to do something different. And some people get stuck in that rat race or in that mindset of the treadmill, of the wheel is the hamster wheel. And the biggest thing that a person can do if they're thinking about being an entrepreneur or want to start a business and they do have a job is to do something what's called a side hustle and try to do something. And it could be something super small, like buying something on Facebook Marketplace, like say they like to refinish furniture, buy something for $100, do some light work to it and sell it for $200. And if someone exchanges that money, instantly you are now an entrepreneur. You just started a business. As soon as money changes hands, no matter if it's $100 or $1,000 or $1 million, just start small. Just start doing something.
No. So start baby step until you get there. I remember when I started in business, before I started in real estate business and these other businesses, I start like that. I grew up in entrepreneurship as well, an entrepreneur household, which make it easier and you can identify with that. But I know it's difficult and challenge for people that see their parents doing the rat race, like you say, going in like a circle. So what is that impactful moment that you can share with the audience, and what was the learning experience? Any impactful moment? I'm pretty sure you have many. It could be in the personal level, business level, something that your aha moment.
So an impactful moment for me is just teaching that. So my family is so important to me. When I was a few years younger than I am now, and my daughter was young, I'd show her how to buy something, which I call flipping, maybe a car or something like that. And her eyes got really big. It's like, oh my gosh, you took it from something that was ugly and you made it nice. And that's part about like fixing up a house or fixing up a car or doing things is having the vision. And for me, my daughter saw my vision, and I think that's helped her develop herself into becoming a young business professional. So that's a turning point in my life, is just watching my kids see what I have done and experiencing that with them.
That is so wonderful. I mean, I have a teenager. My oldest is 16, and I can imagine when my son is already in there. They're not there yet. Of course, they're studying, but it should be very amazing moment, right? To
Correct.
see your kids doing the same thing that you've been teaching, and also being as an example, because I always say that the kids do what they see, not what you tell them to do.
Right, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, very true. I mean, it's just they duplicate. However, I think you and I had this great conversation the other day about how you show people what they're doing. You know, how you live your life.
Yeah.
Your kids especially will emulate that, and in business, people emulate. You know how you do. It's transferring that energy, you know, onto the people around you. And so if you have that leadership quality, you can definitely impact not only your family but other people's lives. And maybe this podcast as well is impacting people with just maybe one nugget of trying to be an entrepreneur.
I know that's so wonderful. And one word, one conversation, 1 second, one phone call, one deal.
Just could change the trajectory of your life. One meeting that you didn't go to, you know, just anything. It's always have to be open to trying something and fail your way forward, as they say, because there is no playbook. And as you know, I'm
Yeah.
working on a new project right now, and
Yeah.
I know nothing about what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out, and I collaborate with people and put people around me that are smarter than I am,
Yeah.
and they are willing to help. And that's the biggest thing is people, it's not always about money, it's about personal growth at the same time. And if people are already successful, they want to help other people because that really is going to fill their heart and their spirit.
Yeah, you say something really important, education, training. Like I'm huge on that. People sometimes come to me and say like, how you done all this is one thing I can share is education and training. Like you don't know what you don't know. And I believe that is, and I say this before, that is out of respect to serve people in the field or area that you're serving, and you're not prepare, you're not trained, you're just misleading people, and
Right.
and that can bring awful results.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
And
It is very true. A person's mindset has to be so solid, and that's probably the hardest things. Is in business and everything that you're doing is there's two ways to look at things. It can be emotional or it can be tactical, and you try to. At least try to be more tactical than emotional, and you can make really bad emotional decisions, purchases decisions or business decisions off of too much emotion.
I know that is so powerful right there. Like I know the audience is taking notes, and you touched something really, really important, and I believe that that comes along having emotional intelligence.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Feelings and business,
Don't mix.
no, at all.
Yes.
It's like the water and the oil.
Yep.
It just doesn't
Yep,
work.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. When things go wrong, I call it having a 5-minute funeral. You're allowed to feel bad, mad, sad, but you got to let it go for 5 minutes and then you got to move on, because being stuck in an emotional state that is a negative state is going to just clutter your mind. You're not going to be able to move forward. And you know, one thing in my life is I've been through a lot of adversity, being a single dad, raising 2 kids, and really just having a mindset of got to keep pushing forward, and you know, so that my kids and my family can have a better life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And no, I didn't know that, well, I don't know too much about your single dad life,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure a lot of people might identify with you that they're single dad. And how is it parenting as a single dad? Is it possible to go through? How can you keep up yourself, with a good attitude? And
Really, it's routine driven, and a lot of personal development and reading. But for me, everything is about consistency, and that means getting up at the same time every day, going to working out at the same time every day. Those 2 things I can control. The rest of my day can be chaotic, and I try to use a calendar as much as possible so it's written down, because that way it happens. And in the mix of all that, there's a lot of emotions and a lot of things happening, and parenting. There's money that needs to be made to spend on colleges and other things. It just takes a very good development of emotional intelligence, and some days are easier than others. Some days
Yeah.
are harder. I mean, it's just a mindset. You have to have the mindset. And there's, in today's day and age with podcasts like this, I can talk about Ed Milet, Tony Robbins,
Oh, yeah.
all the big people out there that have already paved the way. That's the stuff a person should be listening to, not music, not Metallica, not those other things that are kind of fun for the gym, but I like to listen to podcasts like crazy in my car, and I call it Drive Time University. That's where I can listen if I'm not talking on the phone. I can develop my
The
brain.
same way, I know. My mom
Yeah.
sometimes say to me like, "Oh, you're gonna blow your mind. You're
Yeah.
always studying and
Yeah.
listening." And I go, "Yeah, I think we will not live enough
Mm-hmm.
to learn from our own mistake and people's mistake."
Correct.
So that's why I listen to this and listen people's story, and it's great
Yeah.
for growth and personal development.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's so important to put what you put in your mind is what your brain will react to, because maybe some of the viewers don't know this, but your brain does not know the difference between what's a fact and what's fiction. And if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're 100% right.
Wow. Say that one more time. That was
If
so
you,
deep.
If you tell yourself you can't do something, you're 100% right.
So tell yourself that you can do it, actually.
Exactly, every day. And you always got to talk to yourself. Don't listen to what's in your brain. Bring it outside your mouth. Say, I can do this. I can make this happen. You have that conversation. Give yourself a high five and move forward.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know Mel. I love her, Mel.
Mel Robbins,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
She talks about that the brain sometimes you have to reset it, and she talks about in her book about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And just start over.
Yeah.
And don't be so hard to yourself,
Right.
and just reset your mind.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about the brain. You know that the brain doesn't know what's negative or positive. They just listen to command and do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The brain's going to do what you tell it the brain you can do. You know, it's like working out. If you work out a lot and you push yourself through a pain point where you say, I can't do this, I can't get to the treadmill, or I can't lift this, then you have an emotional breakdown when you actually do that. It's your brain will actually have so much energy to push you through whatever you want it to.
Yeah.
Even the worst times. And just remember, everything is not permanent. It's just a temporary moment in time. Whatever you're feeling to this moment, whatever happened to you, there's always going to be adversity. Just remember, there's always going to be adversity, and just embrace that.
Yes.
And keep moving forward every day. That's the thing.
Yeah, 100%. And what are a few things that you can share? Because I know being in business is not easy. You know, we have up and down, and it's not like, okay, everything looks so. It's not like that. I mean, you have to have a strong mind. You have to have confidence and discipline. That's in my case what I apply in the daily base in business. But there's if you can share what worked for you to keep the success that you had so far.
Yep. So the biggest thing I have learned is who you hang around with and who you let into your life on a personal and business mindset. I mean, we could talk on this for a long time, but it's so important who you've let in and at what level. You don't need to be, and that goes for family and friends and business. You mean, you're in control of who you put yourself around. Just because they're family doesn't mean you need to hang around with them if they're not going to fill your emotional spirit. So same thing for business. There's good people the energy. You and I have had this conversation about energy. If you're not feeling it and it makes you feel bad, why keep going back to the well? It's like being in a bad relationship in general. I mean, for me, it all comes around people. You attract like-minded stuff. It's very, very knowledgeable that people are attracted to the same type of stuff. And if you are doing things to yourself that are not personally helping you grow, like maybe you have an addiction problem or something, if you keep hanging around those same kind of people, that's the direction your life is going to go. And that's where I always work on myself. Everything starts with the person. Okay, so that's a big stuff. And then another thing to do is really look at the perception and the perspective of the people that are around you. And what I mean by, like, say you're in traffic and someone cuts you off and you think, oh my God, that person's really a bad person and this and that and their thing. Sometimes maybe he had a bad day at work, and look at it from a different perspective. Your perception of what that person is maybe has had a bad day. So I look at things in a couple different scenarios. Who I hang around with and perception and perspective. I listen to myself about that very often.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I strongly believe that, I'm pretty sure many people heard about this, but 90% of the things that happen to us is not because of the circumstances. It's actually our decision, our attitude, and how we're going to react to things, because it's your choice. And like you say, okay, someone pass away, and Okay, yes, you have to cry, but are you going to stay on that mood forever? You
Yeah.
have to move on.
You have to.
Take the time, tell your brain your feelings, and because our brain works through command.
It does.
And sometimes we giving ourselves message that we got stuck on the way and we don't get out.
Yep.
And I always say that success people is not something, oh, okay, they're better than me. No, it's just a decision making a massive action, like Tony Robbins says many times.
Yep. Massive action.
Massive action.
Stand up and go.
Yeah, just do it.
Just
I mean,
do it,
it's
yeah.
not nothing out of this world.
Right.
And so it's your choice,
Yep.
right? It's your choice to move on or just to stay where you are.
Yep.
So now, how can someone, I know you have multiple business. I know you're in the real estate field, mortgage industry as well, and you're great in finance as well. I mean, if you thought about how can people start a project if they don't know how to start a project, a business, okay? Well, he sounds, someone will say, okay, because he comes from entrepreneurship, household, this and that. And I don't believe in that because I remember when I came to this country 21 years ago, nobody gave me anything. And I was able to create multiple business, not because someone gave it to me, but
Right.
because I worked for it.
Right.
So if you want to share, how can someone start from zero?
Yep. And you just said the magic word, the 4-letter word, work. You have to like separate your life, like your job, and then what is your entrepreneur, what do you want to start? And then write down something basic and something simple. You just have to start. So like everybody knows I am in the Airbnb business. So I didn't just wake up, no one in my family's in the Airbnb business, but I woke up and I bought a property and I just put it on Airbnb and I didn't have any pictures. I didn't have any contracts. I didn't have anything. And someone rented it on a 4th of July and I was still fixing up this one house in Minnesota. I had to figure it out. I'm like, oh, now I got a client. Oh, I just went into business. You just got to start. You just got to start. That's it. You have to try it. And if it fails, which I've failed a lot.
We all do.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You fail your way forward and learn it. And, you're helping me with some stuff right now. It's like, you put people around yourself like you and good people and you just start. So find the passion. If we're talking to start a business, find something that you like. For me, it wouldn't be redecorating furniture. For some people, it would be, or whatever it is. And, just do it for yourself. Start with just doing it for yourself for that enjoyment, and then see where it goes if you want to grow bigger.
Yeah, I love it. And now that you mentioned Failure Forward, it's actually one of my favorite books and one of the classes as a John Maxwell coach, and one of the favorite classes that I teach because I believe that sometimes people identify and see failure like a negative thing. No. That is actually a push.
Yep.
It is really, like you mentioned before,
Yep.
what is going to be your perception? What is going to be your attitude? What will be your action plan on what you have ahead or what just happened to you? So yeah, we actually have 2 episodes about failing forward.
Yeah.
We do. So if you want to go back and see it, that's wonderful. I don't know if you want to share any final thought, any final words.
Sure. I mean, just final things. If there's something that's inside of you that you want to do, try to do a little bit every day. And here's a good example. It's called a compound effect. So if you do something and you want to you're not trying to be 100% better every day, you're trying to be 1% better every day. The same thing for like, if you eat a hamburger every day from McDonald's and you do it for 365 days a week, you won't be very healthy, right? And you'll probably gain a few pounds. Well, same thing with a business is you want to do it every day, just a little bit for 365 days. And the trajectory over life, it'll go really, really far. And if you can work on yourself a little bit every day, it's going to compound. So that's it, the compounding effect in life. It's just a little bit every day. You don't eat an alligator or a giraffe or a hippopotamus in one bite. You do little bites at a time.
Love it. What a great way to end this episode, Compound Interest. Make sure that every day counts for you, and it's a decision making, and if you didn't good one day, the next day just try it get up and just try it better and do it better and have a better strategy, and one day at a time. Sometimes I love Tony Robbins when he says perfection is the enemy of execution.
Yes.
Sometimes we just want everything perfect. No, just do it. Just get up. And
Henry Ford built the Ford, right? Ford car. He didn't go, hey, I need to figure out where the mechanics are, or where the garage is going to be and who's going to sell them. He just created the automobile.
Love it, love it. So I'm pretty sure this was a great episode. I want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Again.
Thank you for having me.
You can actually follow him. Here's gonna be his social media information. We'll see you into the next episode, and having a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.